Hello and welcome to a new episode of Crash Course History. Today we take a look at the Gita and Gita people, better known as the Gitas, and how their existence shaped the future civilizations of northern Africa. Now, although their civilization didn't last as long as others, their demise and their beliefs were what truly made their civilization unique from others. The beliefs in their goddess Oasis and the story of how she was the creator of their people truly showed how the Gitas worshipped her. Now, without further ado, let's elaborate more on the story of the Oasis and the Gitas by heading over to the think tank.
So the Gitas believed that the world started as a huge ball of sand, and on this ball of sand was this goddess, Oasis. Oasis was a very lonely water girl, so she took some of herself and some of the land to form these varying creatures, starting with smaller animals and eventually to humans. The only issue was that she had to consistently give parts of her being to keep the humans that she created alive, and to also create new ones. She tried out many things such as reproduction on their own, but the problem was they still didn't live long. So eventually, as she was running out of options to save her starving and crumbling creations, she laid herself to rest, making a flurry of plants surrounding her or an oasis. Inevitably, they were greedy and used up all the given resources, and a drought came swallowing up the remainings of oasis. So what did they do? They prayed, but mostly they dug holes in the ground to try to find oasis. After a lot of digging, they sprung a leak, freeing oasis. They ended up making what we know known as an aquifer. It widely was believed that if the Gitas were ever greedy again, drought would take over the land.
The lifestyles of the Gita and Gita were very minimal. They lived in adobe houses made of mud, which housed the average family of four. As they lived in a desert, they didn't have very good technology. Spears were used to hunt fish from the oasis that was provided by the goddess as a food supply. Other than that, mud pots were used to store water to clean and prepare the fish. Very little communication existed between other civilizations. Although they didn't have a government, they acted very civilized as they still performed daily routines that we are still known to do today. The Gita and Gita grew crops that thrived in the heat, like zucchini, sweet potatoes, and green beans. Because the Gita and Gita had a moderate population, the resources weren't immediately depleted after each growing season. As the Gita and Gita found more and more ways to grow more crops, their land started becoming overused. The Gita and Gita started getting more greedy for crops, and they started growing and started to dry out the land. This caused what we would know to be a drought that would destroy their civilization.
Many ancient artifacts were lost throughout the history of Gita civilization. This book contains original writings from ruins in North Africa. These writings are originally carved on rocks or trees with wood. These writings show how the Gitan people lived in the past and how their civilization evolved. In this book, it's ancient writing in your local library. Come check it out whenever you want.
So here we have a scroll that was written by the Gitas when they were in distress as the drought occurred. The drought has occurred, and we've called Oasis by using sacred rituals. As she found out that the cause of the drought was not because of our lack of resources and crops, but the greediness that arose because of this, she chose not to help us. And we slowly started to realize that we had to survive on our own. As we started to dig holes in the ground in hopes of finding water, we only started to bring ourselves to our own death. Hundreds of people just falling in an instant to their own death made my stomach sick, and is something that I wish could never be done again.
Oh my goodness, we gotta find water fast before we die.
Oh.
It's gonna be forever.
Go on. Try and find water.
I'll look for water over there. You've got to follow me, though. Hurry up, I think I found something. If you're not here in 5 minutes, I'm leaving with all of the water. You're too far. I'm gonna have to go.
coming. I can't do it. Oh. I can't. Where's the water?
Looks like I found some water.
Looks like I found some water.
Get out of here.
Water.
Nope. Bye. Okay, got all the water I need, and that idiot's dead. I'll be on my way. Hi, I'm Rhea, and this is the statue of Oasis. Now, back then, they had the real Oasis, obviously, before the drought and everything, at least. And this is just a statue representation that was left behind by one of the Gita Gita people. So they would worship Oasis and call to her whenever they had problems, like you're about to see in a minute. And boy, did they have a lot of problems. So Oasis came in handy. Say hi.
All around me are familiar faces.
Well, now that I'm here, I might as well praise the gods once again. Hopefully she'll decide to guide me now. Oh, Oasis, won't you bring us back water and help me on my journey back to my homeland?
The remaining survivors of the Gita Gita traveled north in search for a form of water supply and food supply. In the end, they settled into what we know now as present-day North Africa. They settled here because of the climate and the resources that surrounded the area. The crops that they grew thrived well in any type of weather within the borders of this area. As North Africa was surrounded by water, the remaining survivors believed that Oasis had finally given them a second chance to redeem themselves. Being closer to other civilizations, trade started to arise, bringing new technology and new means of living. Thanks for watching this episode of Crash Course History, and we hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you, and see you later.